This build is going to change everything. Hello agents, and welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today we will be looking at my favorite tank support build, which was massively improved in the title update 10 changes. This build will be comprised of 4 pieces of the new Foundry gear set, the new named Walter and Harris backpack called the Matador, and it will still use the trusty gila Pointman Chestpiece. By adding Foundry into the game, Pointman builds now have this crazy survivability, and they still provide huge armor buffs to teammates. And although the Matador Backpack may not be intended for tanks, there is some sweet synergy if you use it. So first let's look at weapons, which don't play a huge part in the build as long as you can wield them with the Crusader shield. I'd recommend using the Eagle Bearer for damage and the Grudge to provide a team damage buff, but snipers like the Nemesis or free melee kills from the Sweet Dreams could be other good alternatives when your shield is down. Now let's shift our focus over to the gear. So to make this build as tanky as possible, we need to have max armor rolls in every gear's main attribute. If we take a look at the Matador Backpack, our ideal secondary attributes are armor regen, followed by either health or hazard protection if available. My rolls here aren't perfect yet, and the weapon damage brand set bonus isn't that great for us, but the backpack still has my favorite talent in the game right now called Perfect Adrenaline Rush. In simple terms, as long as you remain within close proximity of 3 enemies, you will be receiving 3 23% armor stacks, which adds up to 69%, and those values are refreshed every 5 seconds. I'll show a breakdown of this shortly, but this talent is so good in terms of tanks, speedruns, and it has PvP applications. If you think the Matador is just too selfish, then go ahead and look at our second named piece called the Pointman. It is a chest piece where we are again looking for armor regen as our secondary attribute, then health or hazard protection if you can find it. I've been using this piece in a lot of builds already, so I won't spend too much time showing it off, but the talent allows you to provide a 50% armor bonus to allies in your whole raid team when you put your shield up every 25 seconds. And there's a small 5-second window of downtime in between that you need to play around, but it's almost always up. So since we'll be stacking armor, this buff will end up as more than the total armor of your DPS and skill build teammates, so everyone's going to love you for saving their butt all the time. Now, the ideal attribute for our Foundry pieces are much simpler since there's only one stack. We're going to be looking for armor regen in every secondary attribute, and that way we can have our armor's self-regeneration as quick as possible. Now, even though these rolls aren't perfect, we can take a closer look at the gear set bonus to show why this is an upgrade over old builds right now, where you needed 3 Golan pieces just to get 5% additional armor. At 2 pieces, we get the largest armor buff in the game, and then at 3 pieces, we get an additional minor armor regeneration bonus. Finally, we can take a look at the gear set talent called Makeshift Repairs, which changes everything we know about tanks. At its base level, 20% of all damage taken to your shield on the front or to you by someone who's flanking on the back is healed to both over a short period of time. This new sustain is completely insane, and it's really the only basic form before the chest and the backpack amplify those numbers. These 2 pieces are only going to be in Operation Iron Horse at the beginning, and because they're exclusive, so they'll take a while to get, I'm not in too much of a hurry to get them, mainly because the Pointman and Matador talents, I think, will completely outshine those bonuses to the talent. For gear mods, we'll have 2 blue and 1 red slot available. Rather than taking the small armor on kill bonuses, I would recommend taking 2 protection from elite mods for the blue and 1 crit hit chance mod for the red, so you're as tanky as possible and increase your DPS most efficiently. The Crusader shield will operate at skill tier 6 when you have all armor attributes, and the firewall specialization will give you the most power for your tank build. Just remember to spec into your favorite weapon types. For the second skill, you can opt for whatever you like in terms of damage, healing, scanning, whatever really, but in heroic and raid level content, the Reviver Hive is the typical meta. quick overview of our stats shows the mediocre damage numbers, which doesn't really get us too excited, but then we get to armor, and look at that. After our Foundry armor boost, we can break 2.1 million armor for the first time in Division 2, if we have the shade points and we spec'd into armor. Of course, my armor regen numbers can get much higher when I find the optimal pieces, but this should at least give you an idea of what the build can do. Now before I show where to farm for this build, let's take a quick look at an example of the Matador and Pointman being deployed. Note that the 3 bull cooldowns are displayed when 3 separate enemies have entered the range. That grants me 69% bonus armor and is ready to be refreshed when the cooldown ends. Shortly after, I will raise my shield and check my teammates' health bars. That additional blue bar is the 50% Pointman bonus armor, and that lasts for 20 seconds. So it's not too hard to find the key pieces in this build. Matador is a Dark Zone exclusive, so you're going to want to wait until the WHC brand set or backpacks are the targeted loot in the Dark Zones, and then do some PvE farming landmarks. In a couple hours of farming, my group found 5 in the Dark Zone, so they aren't too hard to find, but getting the blue rolls that you want will take a while since they will always roll with weapon damage as the primary. Now for Pointman, you're going to want to farm any location in the open world or the Dark Zone which targets gila drops. You can kill Dragout for the first time as well if you haven't eaten them. For Foundry farming, any location in the open world or Dark Zone with the targeted gear set drops will give you a chance, but because there's so many gear sets, this one's going to take you the longest to find, so start farming it now while you can. It took me 1 week to find my first mask for Foundry. Thank you all for watching, agents. If you have any questions about the build or are looking for help farming on Xbox, just leave a comment on the video. Please stick around for a few minutes to see some gameplay which shows off the buffs and the regen this build has to offer. can tell you that I don't have skill. But what I do have are a very particular set of builds. Builds I've acquired over a very long career. Builds that make me a nightmare for people like you.